Warning, this video is not targeted to kids and may be inappropriate to younger audiences. Your discretion is advised. Hello, dudes and dudettes. It's your favorite Reacher Gamer Mix 17 here, and I am back once again for another Subnautica Let's Explore series. So, yeah, so we are still continuing on the wonderful data bank entries that I have to go over. But not to worry, we got I don't even know anymore. I don't even know. We got quite a bit still to go over. But by my guess, I think it's gonna be this episode and then next episode, and that is it for all the data entries, and we could finally begin on exploring the world of Planet 4546b. So, because of that, of course, we're continuing on off last time. This time I actually know where it is, because I actually, I'm on my computer right now, so I had to bring up, like, all the notes, I guess you can call them, and I even brought up the data entries where I based off all the remaining data entries that I needed to find. So, let's continue. Last time we left off, we just finished the Gassy Survivors logs, and now we are moving on to Operation logs. So, starting off, Altera HQ last recorded transmissions.
Average long-range transmission delay, 8 hours. Opening last recorded transmissions.
This is an emergency distress call. Aurora is on collision course with planet 4546b. Sending all available environmental data. Please respond with rescue solution. Out.
This is Altera HQ. Attached to this message, you should find the blueprints for an escape ship that we calculate will be capable of breaking orbit and getting you back to the nearest phase gate. Now, it's designed to use materials you can find in situ, but it's gonna need one hell of a power source. Now, we'll be sure to...
Aurora long-range communications really offline.
And there we have it. It was helpful in the long run, whoops. But of course, the way that they said it didn't exactly sound like they were the most confident, due to the fact that they mentioned how it's going to need one hell of a power source, and the way they said it made it sound like, yeah, you're screwed. Good luck. Moving along, we got Aurora. Oh yeah, by the way, I completely forgot. It's mentioned that I will, of course, with each and every single one of these data entries, I am mentioning where exactly you can find them, or in the general area of where you can find them. For this one, of course, it is found in the Aurora. It is a data terminal. I even got it on my computer, luckily, so hooray for that. Next up, we got the Aurora black box data. This was, of course, attached to the last recorded transmissions, as the person mentioned. So, apparently there is a crap ton of stuff on it, so let's continue on reading. Initiated slingshot maneuver around planet 4546b. High velocity energy impulse detected on planet surface. Emergency distress signal sent to Altera listening via long-range comm relay. Impact detected. Life pod bays on the starboard side compromised. Outgoing communications compromised. Emergency evacuation initiated. Manual piloting transferred to Captain Hoister, whatever. Life pods 1 through 25 launched successfully. So we're actually missing quite a few life pods. Quite a lot. I don't think we even discovered half of them. Entering planetary atmosphere. Massive impact registered. Drive core shield compromised. Emergency bounce backs received from 8 life pods on planet surface. Wait a minute. Emergency bounce backs received. Huh. Human life signs detected over long range at T plus hours. 1 maintenance Chief Riley Robinson. which is us. Oh, well, there we go. I think I asked what we worked on. There we go. We now know we were the chief maintenance. Oh, wait. Oh, crap that. Crap. Crap that. Scrap that. Right underneath it says personnel unaccounted for, non-essential systems maintenance, Chief Riley Robinson. There you go. What does that mean? Oh well. Altera HQ rescue solution received at T plus 8 hours to high priority terminal in captain's quarters. Monitoring equipment failed at T plus 13 hours. I think these are supposed to be minus, but I don't know. I could be really wrong, to be honest. And this data entry can be found by once again another terminal data that you get from the Aurora. Good to know. Next up, we got the drive cord shield breach, which was of course mentioned in the Aurora black box data. Ooh. Sorry about that, just had a bit of a hiccup. The Aurora's drive core is shielded by a thick metal shell, which breached in multiple locations shortly after the crash. Once breached, it will continue to leak radiation into the surrounding environment until the breaches are sealed. After that point, the radiation in the environment will dissipate, I can't pronounce it, dissipate, there we go, over time. This procedure should only be attempted with appropriate radiation protection and with a fully charged repair tool. This data entry is collected by scanning one of the breaches on the drive core. VR suit log. Yeah, apparently this thing is a whole game thing that's on the Aurora, I'm assuming. So I mean, I'll go ahead and read it. Loading program: Desert Island Drama .vrat. Size: 3 players. Resources: normal. Spawning players on beach. Player 1 has washed away by an unusual high tide. Player 2 has traded a coconut with player 3 for 10 credits. Player 3 has planted a coconut. Players are getting hungry. Player 3 has grown a coconut tree. Player 3 has eaten a coconut. Player 3 is no longer hungry. Player 3 traded a coconut with player 2 for 30 credits. Player 2 has eaten the coconut but still hungry. Player 3 has traded a coconut with player 2 in exchange of building a tent. Player 3 is sleeping inside the tent. Player 2 is cold. Night falls. A ship passing is offering trading. Player 2 traded 30 credits for a musket. Player 3 has been shot twice in the head while sleeping. Player 2 wins. Player 2 has died from cold and starvation. Well, there you have it. I was to say, wait, what happened to player 1? Right. Player 1 has been washed away from unusually high tide. Yay! But yeah, this is just like a little game thing, I'm assuming, that can be found within some area of the Aurora, specifically an abandoned PDA in the Aurora. So there you have it. They played games about survival, and boy do they suck at it, especially cooperation. So sorry about that. I just had to scroll down my notes, basically, for this whole thing of public documents. I went too far. So, starting off with Altera Amps pamphlet. Yes, there we go. Charity is an aristocratic concept which the realism of today's Altarians has rendered obsolete. We understand that we are each responsible for ourselves, but the best way to get the most for ourselves is to work together with Altera. The implications of this reasoning is clear. If someone is in need, they must find a way to be needed. Wait, what? Okay, that doesn't make sense. Altera Amps I just heard like this weird noise. I don't know if that was from my actual room, from one of my dogs, or that was from the game. Okay, I'm gonna ignore that for a second. Hopefully, like, I don't know, something doesn't crawl out from under my bed and like drag me to the underworld. Anywho, Altera Amps is a training academy for those that need to be needed. Again, that's weird. We're not a charity because we don't ask for handouts. We prefer to think of ourselves as a philanthropic beneficiar, whatever. Something service prompting synergy, I don't know, between employer and workforce. AA operations are a lottery system. By investing any number of credits, you will be entered into our prize draw. Large investments yield higher chances of winning, so basically pay to win. Your credits will go toward training unskilled colonists in virtual tasks such as maintenance and interpersonal skills. The colonists receive this training voluntarily and free of charge, on condition of a minimum contract with one of our investors on competition of their training. Altera launches the Aurora. Phase gate announced for the Aradine arm. Altera launches the Aurora. There we go, I guess. Oh yeah, by the way, the pamphlet you can actually find in an abandoned PDA. Wait, what? Okay, sorry. This one I wasn't entirely sure where it is, but it is like way, way out there. So it's in a wreck, or in the Aurora. It's either in a wreck or in the Aurora. Of abandoned PDA. This abandoned PDA, as mentioned, if it's in a wreck, it's going to be within the Sea Treader's path. So that's pretty far. Whew, oh boy. Luckily, we will be going over that area in a later episode. So, anywho, back to the actual thing. The farthest reaches of inhabited space are due to expand as Altera Corp launches a newly constructed capital ship carrying a phase gate bound for the something arm, AA I guess. The Aurora will travel from a space dock to the edge of Altera space, making hundreds of constructive phase gate jumps through 9 different transgovs authorities and arrive on the far side of the AA in 3 months' time. From there, the command crew will pilot the ship beyond the final phase gate, arriving at the next solar system approximately 18 months away. Okay. There are elite team of engineers will begin a 6-month construction project on the new phase gate, a multi-trillion credit investment. In the absence of existing infrastructure, infrastructure in the region, the vessel is equipped with advanced thermal and nuclear power facilities. Oh, fun stuff. Altera Corp currently operates 9% of all phase gates in the galaxy. If the Aurora's mission is successful, the Aurora will have outmaneuvered the cabal of Mongolian corporations, operating a range of outposts and mines in the region. Okay then. This, by the way, can be found in an abandoned PDA within the Aurora itself. And apparently this, in here, in between these two, apparently, there is, in fact, another data entry that I am missing that I could not find, but I've been to these areas. So, all it says is that this this data can be found in an abandoned PDA within one of the Grassy Plateau's wrecks. For anyone who doesn't know the Grassy Plateaus, of course I'll be going over in the future episode, but long story short, the Grassy Plateaus are the, like, not really small, but basically one of the few first biomes you come across, which is quite deep, like 500 meters deep, I think. If not, it's like 200 meters deep, could be wrong. And it has the red grass. Those are the Grassy Plateaus, and it's in one wreck. I've checked all of my Grassy Plateaus, all the wrecks, couldn't find it, so I don't know if the game spawned it in, but anywho, it is called the Altera Citizen Testimonials. Frank told us this: I hear there are worlds out there where kids still learn from books. They go into a class every day, they memorize things, then later they type those things out in controlled environments, or worlds where everyone's supposed to do whatever creative job they feel like. What use is learning to draw or sing in a world where there's no human resource department to coordinate the galleries and concerts? On Altera's world, psychometric testing specializes digit training, makes the most for everyone's talents. And then it goes on to, I guess, someone else speaking, someone named Max Zoinkoff, I think. I started out in marketing for Altera survival systems. It was good work, but I thought I could do better. I set up my own company developing bespoke code for the Seamoth so it could operate in open space, not just underwater. I sold up to Altera 10 years ago, and now it is one of the most widely used vehicles in the galaxy. Now I'm one of the board of directors and haven't looked back. Another person named George, and it says, George said, an average day for me starts at 10 a.m. I live in a controlled habitat on Terra 17, so everything I need is less than 5 minutes away. I'm a naturally empathetic person, so I took work as a companion. I spend my days visiting clients, talking with them, learning about them, paying them with the attention that everyone needs and deserves, and like most people on Altera's worlds, I'm lucky enough to earn a living doing things I enjoy. Kaz says, this is another person, we're lucky we're free. Oh no. Oh wow, this is weird. This is like weirdly said, okay? We're lucky. We're free. We have jobs. There are trans govs out there that do everything with robots or where weapons are illegal, you know. And that's all he says. Next person is Jamie had to say this. I design artificial worlds, including some of the most popular factory defaults. To do what I do, you need to know what people really want. They want excitement, adventure, new experiences, and whoever they want to be. My job is to make that happen. There are people who say we spend too much time escaping our lives and not enough time making them better. Those people are usually from outside of Altera space. And there we have it. Basically, it looks to be a total of 5 people who basically share their greatest inventions or their greatest thinking process. Kind of like a philosophy, but not really, because philosophy is like really better from what I understand it. But then again, I don't really understand philosophy very much because philosophy is quite difficult for me. So moving along, next up, of course, we have what's actually on my list. Corporate, I think, profile, Toggle Corp. Toggle, of course, being the corporation run by Paul Toggle and Bart Toggle would have been the heir to the corp. Anywho, Toggle Corporation is a long-standing family-run clan that operates almost a dozen mining and trading operations. The company's share price hits an all-time high on the announcement by a Mongolian cabal of their intention to construct a new phase gate utilizing Toggle's materials. These plans were put into hold when Bart Toggle, the intended leader of the new mining operation, disappeared along with his father roughly a decade ago. This, of course, is going off the information basically 10 years after the Degassi ship crashed. This is a data entry that you pick up from an abandoned PDA found in the Grand Wreck Reef. Huh. I thought this would have been found somewhere else. Alright, anywho, moving on. Join Altera's board of directors. Oh boy. I think this is the one I really don't like reading because of details in it. It's not about money. That's what every director on Altera's board has told me. And I believe them. Profitability is just an interim measure of success. Power and status are the real goal. Make enough profit for Altera Corporation and you'll be recognized as the most powerful business people in the universe. Establish a company that operates and the competition, and after compulsory buyout, you can be promoted to the board of directors. Perks include travel, free use of company phase gates, encourage personnel assistance for every phase of your life. Longevity? I don't know. Automatic organ replacement. Oh god. And Altera, get what you deserve. This is basically what throws me off. This is the fact that if you just become powerful enough, you're instantly thrown into board of directors. So anyone could just basically make a business that looks good to everyone, but could be secretly like someone like so sadistic, and once they reach the board of directors, they just ruin everything. That's what keeps throwing me off. Anywho, this data entry you can find in an abandoned PDA found within the Blood Kelp Trench wreck. For anyone who's interested in finding that, that's basically the southern Blood Kelp zone, because that's the only Blood Kelp Trench there is. Anywho, moving along. Relationship, contract, legal, recording. Since this is something that you just listen, thank you. You saved my throat just a tiny bit more. Second recording.
Listen, I know I don't have the right to make demands of you, but I need you to understand that I want to change our arrangement.
I hear what you're saying, and I will try to respect it. How would you like to change it?
I would like to reduce our contact hours.
How much further can we do that?
To 0.
You're dumping me.
I'm changing the terms of our relationship.
How is it still a relationship if we don't see each other?
It's a relationship of a kind. You have so many expectations.
I feel you just want to spend more time with that dumb guy in his dumb robot suit.
That's not a feeling. It's a judgment. And I feel hostility in what you're saying. Perhaps your jealousy is a sign that you need to take another look at your business model. Why can't you just be happy for me?
I am happy for you, and I'm happy for all the guys in the prawn bay. I'm just not happy for me.
This is why I want to change our arrangement.
Seek fluid intake.
So, as I slowly die of dehydration, this is very, very annoying to a degree. This is the fact that basically, I won't say the word, but yeah, it's pretty obvious what's going on here. And who's what? Anywho, excuse me for a second. Well, I try to take care of my own body from absolute death. I have to remember what I had to click on. Alright.
Vital signs stabilizing.
Oh, whoops. Alright. I feel like I should get some water bottles from... whatever. That'll be fine. Moving along. Let's see. Oh, by the way, this is a data entry that you can pick up from an abandoned PDA found within the Aurora. For anyone who is interested in finding this. Moving along, we have responsible autonomous relationships. Okay. Before I continue that, I gotta deal with something real quick. Okay, sorry about that. I just had to take care of my dogs and like 2 other things and whatnot. Anywho, moving along, back to the actual thing that I was just talking about. This is by someone called Forward by... wait, no, this is something, I don't know. Forward by Jenny Eckhart, I think that's how you pronounce it. All of the good things in life are comedies, whatever. We trade love just as we buy and sell stock. We engage in human relationships when there is a fair exchange of value. Support, motivation, affection, nothing good is ever free. If every physical good in the Federation came from a single supplier, it would constitute a dangerous monopoly. Personal relationships are the same. It is important for people to get what they need from multiple sources. If a person finds a better source of the goods they require, they are not wronging their original supplier by changing their purchasing arrangements. If one member of the relationship should feel threatened or jealous, they must look at their own business model and ask whether it is performing competitively. There is always room for improvement. This is strange, but okay. This data entry can be found in an abandoned PDA within the Aurora. Next up, we got the Charter, which is, I think that's how you pronounce it, the Charter. This is also another abandoned PDA that can be found within the Bulb Zone Rec. So, that's interesting to know. Anywho, definitions. Transgov, an independent authority in de facto control of at least one solar system and phase gate. Citizen, a person who consents considiously or implicitly to the authority of a recognized transgov. The Charter, the full legal contract agreed upon a 36 separate transgovs and summarized herein. I'm starting to lose my point. Here we go. The Trans-System Federation, TSF, military police charged with enforcing the terms of the Charter, independent of but funded by the transgovs. Trans-System Phasegate, any permanent installation which enables warping or spacefaring, I think, vessels between solar systems. Transgov's principles. There we go. 1. Each transgov is to have an equal right to most extensive basic liberty, compatible with a similar liberty for others. Okay. Each has the right to own phase gates and planetary infrastructure. B. each has an obligation to share phasegate access with other transgovs, fair terms at no cost to themselves. C. Each has an obligation to financially maintain and comply with the TSF. 2. Each transgov has the right to self-government, subject to restrictions laid out below. A. No transgovs may develop weapons technologies outlawed by Appendix 91. Appendix what? Okay. B. No transgovs shall engage in population abuse. Which makes me question, what does that mean? Next up, we got today's menu. Yay! If I'm not mistaken, I think this is just a PDA or data terminal found in the Aurora. Abandoned PDA found in the Aurora. Yep, I was correct. So yeah, this is just an actual thing. It's a menu of the Aurora. I'll just read it out of the ways. Starter: Space Bear something Volute. I don't know. Since their introduction to the interstellar vacuum in the 21st century, microscopic tardigrades or space bears have adapted and flourished where no other life forms have survived. Condensed into a smooth, nutty, protein-rich soup, they are the freshest local ingredient. You know what? Do I really need to read this? I'm gonna have this right here on the screen. You guys can pause it, read it on your own. I'll even go as far as just to do this. Y'all can pause it. I'll give y'all like a second or two. Alright, moving along. We don't need to read this. Oh god, I'm not gonna read a menu, alright? I'll read many ridiculous things, but a menu is not one of them. Okay, next up we got the Trans-Government Profile Altera Corp, one of the largest suppliers in spacefaring technologies and consumer electronics in the Federation. The official supplier of the TSF, constantly ranked amongst the galaxy's best employers, began life as a defense manufacturer in the mid 22nd century. National motto: get what you deserve. Okay then. Although most transgovs can trace their roots back to Earth, Altera, literally meaning by Earth, is the only one Brazen? I don't know. Enough to take its name. Okay. During the expansion, Altera supplied arms to all sides, acquiring and housing a vast colonist workforce and making the transition from manufacturer to corporate state. Altera's threat to cease trade is one of the turning points in the conflict, bringing about the end of hostilities and the signing of the charter. Oh, okay. That actually explains a little bit more about the lore behind Subnautica. Huh. Well, there you have it, people. Free enterprise within Altera space is encouraged, but competition is right, and all goods exported off-world must be Altera branded. Profitable businesses are bought out by the state owners ascending from the board of directors. Well-known Altera technologies like the Cyclops submersible originated with such private enterprises. Despite superficial similarities to national governments, the corporation's lawyers have always maintained that has no legal obligation to its employer, but voluntarily elects to take on the roles usually served by a democratically elected government. This claim cannot yet be tested in the Federation courts. Quartz, yes. This data entry can be found in an abandoned PDA in the Aurora. Wow. So many abandoned PDAs, is there? Alright. Transgov profile, Mongolian independent states. Jesus, how many more do I have to read about this? Because both of these are long. And then we finally get to in geological data. Okay, I just gotta pull through. When the hostilities of the expansion ceased, the tactical value of the hard-to-reach colony systems on the edge of the China territories plummeted. Recoping from the war, the central government left them to starve. The systems in question declared independence, claiming their infrastructure as their own, and their intent to become self-sufficient. Today, the Mongolian states is seen as a relatively minor power on the outskirts of colonized space, yet it remains one of the fastest expanding transgovs in the galaxy. Mongolian societies inherited their technologies from the Chinese, but incorporated their customs of their manufacturer colonist base. Non-synthetic foods remain popular. Religion is a strong component of society, but the Mongolians take a relaxed view of competing faiths, believing gods to be universally and equally flawed.
Seek fluid intake.
Okay, thank you for interrupting. I actually like that. The fact that they actually were... Man, developers, you are brave to say that. Not many people are. I will gladly say it, to a degree. But dang. Oh, okay, so this thing's stuff. Alright. Oh, okay, I forgot. Wrong button. I always do that.
Vital signs stabilizing.
Yay, that should keep me intact for a little bit longer. You know, if I can actually do stuff. There we go. Okay then. Sweet. Alright. Moving back to the final thing of public documents and an actual category, finally. I think this category is like one of the longest ones. Okay, what we can learn... oh, whoops, I forgot to mention, this data entry can be found within an abandoned PDA within one of the grassy plateaus wreck. Yeah, fun stuff. Moving along, what can we learn from the hive mind of Strater, I think? Strater? I was about to... yeah, wait, no, that is correct. Strater 6. How are the individuals which make up a hive mind to be categorized? Are they merely dumb components of a larger intelligent organism, or are they, the larger mind, merely a product of the independent organisms? Can it be both? We define organisms by their traits, but find it invariable that traits depend on those of the environment. The concept of a tadpole is meaningless without the concept of a frog it will develop into. The idea of a predator is empty without an understanding of its prey. This begs the question, if we define everything by reference to everything else, what have we actually explained? An illustrative experiment has recently performed on the hive mind colony discovered on Strater 6. A device was placed outside the nest which would electrocute individuals approaching it. An ant colony would have lost many individuals before the basic danger signal was successfully communicated between them, resulting in learned avoidance from the device. Successful but costly. The Strater 6 colony quickly formed into two fractions. One attempted to remove the device, by brute force, sacrificing individuals as they did so. Second, attempted to cover the device in sand. Wait, what the heck is this? This is like super out there. This thing also has nothing... Wait, what? I mean, I know that this hive mind thing actually has some form of importance, but this is something else. Okay, moving along. These two goals are mutually exclusive. A fight ensued. The first faction was beaten in virtue of its reduced numbers. The device was safely buried, and the survivors called a truce from the perspective of the individuals. This experience must have been horrific. From the perspective of the hive mind, a nagging problem has been overcome with the most effective solution. Which perspective is the correct one? Wait. What? Okay, whatever. I'm gonna keep reading, and for anyone who can actually make any sense out of this, good for you. I can't. We suggest that this is neither. By attempting to fit such entities into our rig, sets of concepts, we are painting onto the world of false impression of concreteness and meaning, which is a reflection of our concepts of ourselves. We describe straighter 6 individuals as attacking one another, just as we would describe microbes on the human body. Yet the starter colony, I'm just going to call them S6 at this rate, has colony, like the body, cannot be healthy as a whole without the aggressions of its components. We describe neurons in a brain as being dumb, but brains as a whole as intelligent. But when the idea takes hold of the brain and forces its inferior ones, do we describe this as an act of aggression? Do we mourn dead neurons? When a philosophy or a technology takes hold in human society, when wars are fought over them and people die, is that rightly seen as being good or evil? This is not to undermine the meaning of our existence. From where we stand, our existence is very serious indeed, but is our civilization and our universe really any different from the colony of S6? Is intelligence something limited to things of flesh and blood, or is the universe truly one giant intelligent system, and we but amoeba blowing self-important potholes in its surface? We would do well as scientists to remember that our goal is to not paint the world as we see it, but to see it as it truly is. I am questioning this whole data entry, and you know what? It's going to hurt my brain if I even bother looking into it. So, long story short, this is the data entry you can find in a PDA in the Aurora. Moving along, we finally move out of public documents and finally move out of category data downloads. Yay! We've finally reached our halfway point with geological data, which luckily, if I'm not mistaken, geological data is not that long. It's a hefty read, kind of, to a degree, but it's not that long. I think we can get through it. Okay. Geological data. Now, if I'm not mistaken, any of these can be either found within just by going scratch that. Most of this is that the fact that you have to scan it. All of them. Basically, everything but Planet 4546b environment scan and Crater Edge. These two are just data entries that I think you just pick up for, yeah, that's what it looks like. Yeah, you pick up from something else. Everything else here, the uranites, shale, whatever, all this stuff, the resources that I use in recipes and whatnot, those are ores and ingredients that you use or that you get at data entries by scanning them. So yeah, this here 4546B environment scan is a data entry that you collect by repairing your life pod in the beginning of the game, or sometime in the beginning of the game, depending on how quickly you get a repair tool. Moving along, let's continue. Category 3 Ocean Planet. Oxygen/nitrogen atmosphere. Extensive biodiversity. Safety warnings. May support Leviathan class predators. Water contaminated with high levels of foreign bacteria. Planet is beyond Federation space rescue unlikely. It is not recommended to explore this environment without hazardous material suits and extensive supports operations. Well, or apparatus, whatever. Crater edge. This data entry you collect by just going to the crater edge, which is on the edge of the map in any direction. Yes, I went there. It was very quick, actually. I won't go into that. Geological scans of the area show a steep decline in all directions. This data is consistent with the theory that the Aurora, wait, what? The theory that the Aurora crashed on the edge of a 2 kilometer by 2 kilometer volcanic crater. It has likely been millennia since an eruption reached the surface, encouraging the ecosystem within the crater to flourish. The ecology of the trench surrounding the crater supports only 2 kinds of life, microscopic and Leviathan class. Exploration is ill-advised. Oh boy, not when you're in this series. I am screwed. Crystalline sulfur, something I always have a hard time trying to have enough of. Sulfur is a highly reactive, non-metallic element, usually found in an abundance underground. Common applications include production of acidic compounds and combustibles. Assessment: essential for advanced fabrication. Kyanite, I think that's how you pronounce it. Kyanite is a blue silicate material which forms under high temperature, high pressure conditions. It is resistant to heat up to 1100 degrees Celsius and is thermoelectric, making it a valuable component in thermal power plants. Assessment: essential for advanced fabrication. Limestone outcrops. These unusual geological structures often form around titanium and copper deposits. It is distinct to this planet. Closer analysis reveals the stone around the material has been hardened against erosion, but the mechanism remains unknown. Assessment: titanium and copper source. Magnite. Magnite is an iron oxide valued for its magnetic potential amongst other qualities. It is used in many Federation technologies, including sonar and torpedo systems. Assessment: essential for advanced fabrication. Nickel ore. Nickel is a medium hard ductile, I can't pronounce it very well, metal used extensively in production of strong metal alloys. It has applications throughout the construction industry. Assessment: essential for advanced fabrication. Ruby. Okay, at this rate, I'm not going to read the assessment thing. You guys can read it if you want, because it's all basically the same, except for the outcrops. A hard blood red gemstone made of aluminum oxide, rubies may be processed in order to leverage their structure integrity in advanced vehicle construction and modification. Sandstone outcrops. These common bronze outcrops seem to form around small amounts of precious metals. Otherwise, these metals are parts of a sedimentary buildup over time. That also includes lead, silver, and gold. Scattered wreckage. Analysis confirmed this wreckage is from the Aurora. Outer layers of the material have oxidized, suggesting it has heated to over 1200 Celsius. This pattern is consistent with the whole disintegration during the atmospheric entry. Salvage of intact proportions of Altera vessels are prohibited at legal, moral, and technical levels. However, scraps such as these may be reclaimed for their titanium content at any Altera fabricator. Shell, I'm calling them that, outcrops. This sedimentary rock is formed from flakes of clay materials, inside of which rare materials such as lithium can be found. Geological conditions of the planet means it tends to be found in deeper biomes. This includes gold, lithium, and diamond sources. Uranite, a very useful material. Uranite is a naturally occurring uranium oxide, highly radioactive and unstable. Its primary use is in the production of uranium reactor rods for nuclear generators. And this one's actually a different assessment. Assessment applications in nuclear power. Super useful, by the way. I highly recommend it. Okay. So, how much more can I actually read? Because I got quite a bit. I mean, because I know I'm running out of time, which is why I am debating. You know what? No, I think this is where I'm going to stop. And for next episode, we will finally be able to finish up all of the data entries with indigenous life forms, which I know has 100 plus stuff, but we'll be fine. Survival package, which doesn't have a whole lot, debating on whether or not to read that first in the next episode, or just read that now. And time capsules, which is a different story. You know what? I'm gonna read the survival package. I don't care. I'm having my regrets now. Okay, 2 Barth emergency life pod. Standard features: short range radio, 250 kilometer uninterrupted range, wall mounted fabricator for survival equipment manufacture and for rendering organic substances edible, medical kit fabricator, on board air brake and flotation devices for land, sea, or space recovery, solar power cells 3, emergency exits on the floor and roof. Standard provisions: 2 all-environment protection suits, 2 ready-to-eat nutrition blocks, 2 drinking water provisions, 1 emergency medical kit, and 2 emergency flares, which I never had to use. NB. Some life pods may be equipped with different supplies such as radiation suits and replacement parts. Board to the right life pod for the right situation. Well, that sucks, because that would have been helpful for me. All environment protection suit. The Altera AEP suits a single solution for universe of infinite danger. You are currently wearing the AEP suit, a hermetically sealed personal environment designed to withstand the most extreme conditions in the known universe. onboard temperature and hydraulic regulation system, compatible with a range of attachments, slimline build for maximum freedom of movement. Hey, not bad. Biometric sensors, contextual heads-up display. AEP suits should always be equipped before LifePod launch in case of hull breach. Not bad. Aurora ship status. Aurora ship class. Aurora long range capital ship. Mission Abaddon AA phase gate installation 3-year operation time. Crew Command Team 23, Engineering Team 85, Support Crew 40, Passengers 9. Wow, I am not going to do the math of that because I know I could, but I don't want to. Status: sustaining heavy damage in orbit of planet 4546b. Cause unknown. Evacuation data unavailable. Engineering section: dark matter iron drive core V8. Manned robot suit. Advanced scanner suit. I think that's how you pronounce it. Long range communications relay. 0.25 cubic kilometer storage for phase gates something. Habitation section. Accommodation of 150 people. Alright, well there you go. There's the number of how many people there's on the board, I guess. As a maximum. Multiple canteens serving healthy, fresh, and rehydrated food. Leisure facilities including VR suit and virtual cinema. I think that's what it said. Start here. If you're reading this, then you have survived an emergency evacuation of a capital class ship equipped with Altera technology. Congratulations, the hard part's over. What? Your PDA is automatically rebooted in emergency mode. This operating system has one directive: to keep you alive in a hostile alien world. If that is not possible, it will alert salvage teams to the location of your remains. It features full monitoring of vital signs for timely survival advice, blueprints for fabricating a range of essential survival equipment, and tailored to your environment. Onboard camera, microphone, or or OCR technology for short-range situational analysis, cross-compatibility with all Altera compliance productions. NB, if your personal and work files have been encrypted and may be received later, data for licensed engineer. Wait, what? Okay, whatever. Survival checklist. 1. Administer first aid if required. 2. Take inventory for available materials and supplies and decide on rations. 3. Survey the environments for threats and resources. 4. Construct necessary survival equipment using the LifePod's fabricator. 5. Check LifePod for damage and repair if necessary. 6. Broadcast local distress signal using LifePod short-range radio. 7. Locate other survivors using the line of sight or the radio. 8. Find or construct a more permanent habitat. 9. Maintain physical and psychological health until rescue. I can only promise one of those. NB. This information is meant to be general guide, and in the first instance, you should always follow the advice of your PDA, which has taken a particular circumstances into account. Yay! I managed to get to this far. Next up, we will read the indigenous life forms and the warning blueprint database corrupted, including the time capsules. I am running out of time, so thank you everyone for joining me in this grand adventure of Subnautica Let's Explore. And I will see you all in the next episode. Goodbye!